Okay, everybody, we'd like to welcome you to the iconic Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial here in beautiful La Jolla, California. Look at the day we have. If you were up early this morning, there was fog all the way to the East County, a big blanket of it. We were wondering if we were going to get sunshine today. Take a look at this. The fog line rolled right to the memorial. That's pretty cool. So we're off to a good start. We're being smiled upon today. Also I want to acknowledge the La Jolla High School band right there. These guys have been working their tails off. You guys are awesome. Go Vikings. They really have. It's a little different this year with what's going on in Washington, D.C. And another thing that's happening that's different this year is you look around and you will see some empty seats around you. And that's because, you have to thank for that? Caltrans. But hey, we got to drive on safe roads. So if you didn't know, the southbound side of Interstate 5 is shut down from 52 all the way down to Mission Bay. So if you came here northbound, be sure and try to get out, take the 163, the 805, and take the 52 to get there, and you should be fine. My name is Jason Austell. I am a reporter, and I am the morning anchor for Good Morning San Diego on KUSI News. Thank you. I want to thank you and the Mount Soledad Memorial Association for getting me out of work an hour early this morning so I could do this. That's a good trade. I am not a veteran, kind of. I grew up in a Navy family. My dad was an early Tomcat Squadron CO right down here at what used to be Naval Air Station, New Orleans. And growing up around naval aviation was absolutely amazing. I even got, if you're Navy people, you might be familiar with the Tiger cruises. I was on the first Tiger cruise the Navy ever had when I was a kid, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. My dad, he lives up in Sacramento, just celebrated his 90th birthday 2 weeks ago. So yeah. And my mom celebrated her 88th 2 days ago. So they're still bringing it. Gotta love that. And when I got invited to talk with you today, I'm going to be brief, but we're talking about veterans who have served, veterans who do serve, and I wanted to acknowledge the families of our veterans, the spouses, the dependents. They serve too. I say that all the time, is you serve too. And I say that because I know it firsthand. The spouses especially, man, when my dad used to go on these Westpac, 9-month Navy cruises called Westpac, Western Pacific, it never failed. There's a phenomenon in Navy families. When the ship leaves and crosses that horizon, the car breaks down, the kids get sick, the kitchen sink gets plugged up, and the dog's got to go to a vet. It just happens that way. So it was... For me, growing up, it was incredible to grow up around aviation. My dad left flight status, got stationed in the Pentagon. We were supposed to be there 2 years, and we're going back home to San Diego. Yes! And then he got command of Naval Air Station New Orleans. No. So anyway, I went to 3 different high schools in 3 different states, and it's something that built character. And I didn't like it when I was going through it, but I've always appreciated that. And people ask me, they say, Jason, your dad had such a great career in the Navy. Why didn't you go into the Navy? And I jokingly tell them, it took me 18 years to get out of the Navy. So anyway, we've got a great program today. Okay, already did that. Okay. We have elected officials here. We have business leaders supporting family members, military veterans in the audience, and whatever active duty service members were able to sneak in, albeit the government shutdown that we just mentioned. And we have some people who will probably be filtering in. There's some buses that people took to get here, and there's all kinds of traffic. I probably don't have to tell you that if you came in. This year marks a very, very important moment in our lives, the 250th birthday of both the Navy and the U.S. Marine Corps. San Diego has long been more than a coastal city. For nearly 2 centuries, it has stood as a gateway for America's Navy and Marine Corps in the Pacific. San Diego's military story began during the Mexican-American War in 1846, when the USS Cyane sailed into San Diego Bay. Marines and sailors came ashore into San Diego. They raised the American flag and secured the town for the United States. Soon thereafter, U.S. forces fought the Battle of San Pasqual and held firm at Mule Hill until reinforcements arrived. That's right up there in Escondido. But after that, we've got two great speakers. You're going to love these guys. It's going to tell you so much about San Diego's proud Navy and Marine Corps history and heritage here in San Diego. So we're going to be here for about an hour as we learn a little more. We'll celebrate with our fellow veterans and their families and honor this great nation. It is my pleasure right now to introduce Neil O'Connell, the Mount Soledad Memorial Association's Executive Director. He's going to kick off the event. He's been on the Board of Trustees since September 2012. Sergeant Major O'Connell in the Marines, served for 33 years, numerous operations and campaigns.
Thank you, Jason. Is Jason not the best? How about that? All right, everybody. The formal portion of this ceremony, as many of you are very familiar with, is very, very traditional here. And I'd ask you to just listen to the cues at this time as I ask you to stand as we invite Canyon Hills High School, Navy ROTC, Junior ROTC, Color Guard, march on the colors. We are now pleased to welcome our 2025-26 Mount Soledad Veteran of the Year, Jim Wheyland. Jim honorably served as a captain in the United States Marine Corps and has been a docent at Mount Soledad since 2018. Jim, I invite you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. We really appreciate everything you do. And again, please remain standing as I ask retired Explosive Ordnance Disposal Chief Petty Officer J.J. Gentry to join us here to sing our national anthem. And as he finishes, please look to the skies behind me for the San Diego salute formation, which will be coming over the top of the memorial and the cross. Looking forward to this.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Terrific. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Chief Gentry. Please remain standing as we retire the colors. Color Guard, retire the colors. Want me to do the prayer real quick? Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to the sky over my right shoulder above your cross, you'll see the beautiful San Diego salute formation, creating a very, very wonderful salute for us. Coming back again, right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's a tradition here at Mount Soledad, unlike many of the ceremonies throughout the county. But as we conclude this formal portion, I'd ask Commander Jerry Stenovic, our deacon for today. He is a graduate of the United States Naval Academy with a degree in mechanical engineering. Currently serves as a director of business development at the Boeing Corporation. He's a longtime Catholic deacon ordained in 2013. His ministry builds on years of naval service and patriotism, bringing values-driven leadership from the uniformed services into corporate, parish, and community life. Deacon, there you are.
There I am.
Right behind me, over my shoulder. There you go,
Thank
sir.
you. Gracious God, source of all that is good, we gather here today amidst the quiet beauty and hallowed ground of Mount Soledad to honor the enduring spirit of all who have worn the uniform. We remember them with deep gratitude and admiration, standing ready to defend freedom, justice, and the values we hold dear. We honor their courage, their integrity, and their unwavering devotion to duty, whether on distant shores or here at home. Today we pay tribute not only to those who have fallen in service, but also to all veterans whose sacrifices, seen and unseen, have secured the liberty and security of generations. We give profound thanks for the 250th anniversaries of the United States Navy and Marine Corps. For 2.5 centuries, these services have safeguarded our shores, defended our freedoms, and exemplified courage, honor, and commitment. Their legacy is etched into the very fabric of our country, and their sacrifice continues to inspire generations. We are especially grateful for the historic bond between these storied branches and the city of San Diego. Through their steadfast presence, the Navy and Marine Corps have helped forge San Diego into a thriving, vibrant military community. The transformative impact on this city is seen in its strength, its unity, and its unwavering support for those who serve. Grant us the wisdom to cherish their legacy, the resolve to uphold the ideals for which they stood, and the compassion to care for those who continue to bear the burdens of war and sacrifice. Bless the families and loved ones of our veterans who have also borne the weight of service with patience, resilience, and grace. May this gathering be a reminder that freedom is never free, and that unity, gratitude, and remembrance strengthen the bonds of our community and nation. Inspire each of us to serve in our own ways, with kindness, with courage, and with an enduring commitment to justice and peace. We ask for your blessing upon this ceremony, upon those present here today, and upon all who have served and to continue to serve our country. May we leave this place with renewed purpose, carrying forward the torch of honor and remembrance. In your holy name we pray, amen.
Thank you very much, Deacon. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and relax. You know, we put these ceremonies together and we coordinate that timing of those airplanes, and it's always a challenge, but this one worked out pretty perfectly, I think. Worked out pretty good. I think one time we had an issue up here where we had airplanes coming in and the clouds were right over the top of this flagpole, and Phil Kendrow waved them right off real quick. We tried though, didn't we, Phil? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day today, maybe an hour or two, to travel here to the beautiful memorial. And before I share some comments with you, I'd like to thank our law enforcement leadership, our firefighter leadership, all the leadership of our city that's here today. It means so much to us here at this memorial. As you know, many of these men and women right now are they're on patrols, they're fighting out fires, or they're on the highways helping people that are injured. And sir, ladies and gentlemen, we really thank you very much, as always. Thank you. So today, across our nation, American citizens gather in towns large and small to honor those who have served in the armed forces of the United States. Men and women who, in times of peace and war, have protected our freedom and upheld the ideals for which this country was founded. Veterans Day began as Armistice Day, marking the end of World War I, the war to end all wars at that time. On November 11th, 1918, at the 11th hour of the 11th day, at the 11th month, the guns fell silent across Europe. It was a moment the world thought throughout would bring lasting peace. And in 1954, after the service and sacrifice of veterans in Europe, in the Pacific Theater in Korea, World War II in Korea, Congress renamed the observance to be Veterans Day, expanding it to honor all American veterans from every generation, those who fought, those who served, and those who continue to stand the watch today. We have many active duty in the audience today, and in no time at all, they'll join the ranks with us veterans. We thank you. Here at Mount Soledad, we gather on this mountaintop not only to honor their memory, but to celebrate their legacy. As it is, Veterans Day is a celebration. Since its founding in 1952, this memorial has stood as one of San Diego's most cherished landmarks, a place of reflection, healing, and pride. Every plaque on these walls tells a story of courage, of sacrifice, of love, and deep devotion to patriotism of our country. Together, they form a living archive of American service, spanning every branch, every conflict, every generation. Our mission has always been clear: to honor veterans and preserve their stories and inspire future generations with their example. There are 6,700 such plaques here. We ask you to please take some time and enjoy the stories that you'll learn with the plaques of the veterans you see on the wall. Over these decades, the Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial has become more than just a memorial and a monument. Between the past and the present, between veterans and their families, and between our military community and the citizens that they protect, it reminds us that freedom endures because brave men and women have been willing to defend it, often at great personal cost. So today, as we gather at this beautiful memorial overlooking the Pacific, the same ocean that has carried our ships and our hopes of freedom across the world, let us renew our promise to never forget the men and women who made it possible. Let us honor their service, not only in words, but through our actions and our deeds, by supporting our veterans, strengthening their families, and preserving their stories that define who they are as Americans. And to all veterans, past, present, and future, we say to you, thank you. You have defended liberty, protected peace, strengthened the foundation of this great nation, and set an example for those to follow. So we welcome each and every one of you today from the bottom of our heart to this beautiful memorial on the hill, where every day, and especially today, we remember that freedom lives because of our veterans. They have lived for it. They have ensured it's been preserved. And to each of you, may you God bless America, our military, and the United States of America. Thank you very much, and I'll pass it back to Jason at this time. Thank you, sir. Jason, it's all you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Neil. Okay, if you guys are coming in, you just came in, if you want to take a seat, even if it's got a name on it, take one of these seats anywhere in here if you want to take a load off. All right, thanks again, Neil. Mayor Todd Gloria is the 37th mayor of the city of San Diego. He's a graduate of the University of San Diego and a third-generation San Diegan. That means he's been navigating City Hall, lines at the Padres games, and Comic-Con crowds long before that stuff was cool. The Board of Trustees and Mayor Gloria truly appreciate your support of the memorial for so many years, and we all thank you for being here today. Please welcome Mayor Todd Gloria.
Jason, thank you for that introduction, and good morning, my fellow San Diegans. It is an honor to be with you all here at the beautiful Mount Soledad Memorial, a sacred place for remembrance, reflection, and reverence. I particularly want to thank all of you for being here. Overcoming a federal government shutdown and a highway closure, you are truly persistent people and understand what it is to keep our promise as a city that we will thank those who've worn our nation's uniform. I admire every single one of you. We're Southern Californians. Freeway closures? We don't do that. You did, and I admire and I thank you. I also admire the association. What they have built here, 6,700 of these plaques. That's incredible. Many of us were here at the very beginning of the germ of the idea of this memorial, and to see what it has become is not an accident. It's the efforts of wonderful San Diegans who have been engaged in this effort for literally decades. And this beautiful memorial is a tribute to our nation's veterans, but it's a testament to this city's willingness to go to the mat to make sure that we thank our veterans. So to Neil and to the entire team, thank you for what you do. You have my respect and my admiration. I appreciate you. I want you to know your city's persistent. You see, it's not just me. We have our council president, Jolla, who is here. Our police chief, Scott Wall, is here. Our assistant chief, Eddie, who is here on behalf of Chief Robert Logan, and obviously representatives from our San Diego Police and Fire Department. Neil, thank you for acknowledging their service. The message should hopefully be very clear. The city of San Diego supports our nation's veterans, and we do it by showing up and hopefully taking action. I want to tell you a little bit more about that. Obviously, this is a unique year for us. We come together to commemorate the 250th anniversaries of both the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps, two forces whose proud traditions are woven into the fabric of this city. From the sea to the shore, from the decks of our ships in San Diego Bay to the barracks at MCRD, San Diego has long stood as a cornerstone of our American military. But I like to think that it's far more than a base. What we have become is a home to sailors and Marines, to families, veterans, and to the men and women who defend our freedoms, protect our families, and safeguard our democracy. This city, our city, America's finest city, would not be what it is today without the contributions of our military community. And that's why Veterans Day and Veterans Day weekend holds an added significance here in San Diego. I personally believe that we just feel it deeper here in our military city. We come together to honor those who have served and recognize the lasting impacts of their service on our country, on our community, and on each and every one of our lives. And we remind ourselves that honoring them is not just something that we should do one day out of the year, but something that we ought to do every single day of the year, not just through words, but through actions. And for me, this day offers an important personal meaning. Jason's right, been here my whole life, a third-generation San Diegan. My 4 grandparents served in the military, came to San Diego, didn't go back where they started, because why would you leave this? This is absolute paradise. My grandparents are smart people. And their story is not dissimilar from so many other folks who have come and helped to make this city a better place. That this is not just a duty station, but a great place to call home, to raise a family, to build a future. And as your mayor, that is my commitment. I believe I have a duty to those who have served us, to serve those who have served us. And that's why our city is working every day to ensure that San Diego remains a welcoming and opportunity-rich city for veterans and military families. How are we doing that? We're doing that by investing in programs that help our local veterans transition into civilian life, connect them to resources, and help them to build meaningful lives and careers right here in this region. I don't like to see the talent discharge out of our bases and go somewhere else. I want to keep that talent in our city and help propel us further and farther forward. San Diego shouldn't just honor its veteran community in words. We will do it through action, and those are just some of the actions, in addition to focusing on veteran homelessness and actually constructing more shelters for that part of our population, and a host of providing veterans hiring preferences at the city of San Diego, becoming a skill bridge organization, meaning to say that we are direct partners with the Department of Defense so that we can recruit folks who are leaving the military and have them come be our next Chief Wall or Assistant Chief Eddie, because we want to keep that talent here in San Diego. As I said, we stand here today in the shadow of this memorial. I'm reminded that every plaque on these walls tells a story. It's a story of courage, a story of resilience, and a story of love of country. And Veterans Day reminds us that our freedoms are not guaranteed. They, in fact, are earned by the men and women who wear our nation's uniform. Those who signed up, showed up, and stood up, often in the face of unthinkable danger for all of us. So today and every day, I want to say to the veterans who are here and anyone who will ever maybe hear my words, San Diego thanks you. We honor your service, and we are better because of what you have given to this country. And to the families who supported them, waited for them, and sometimes mourned them, we see you, we honor you, and we are grateful for you. As mayor, I pledge to continue to keep working to ensure that your service is never forgotten and that your sacrifices are met with opportunity, dignity, and support. Because honoring our veterans is not just about the past, it is about how we can build a better and brighter future for all of us. Thank you. May God bless our nation's veterans, our military families. May God bless the city of San Diego and the United States of America. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you, Mayor Gloria. Great message there. Okay, we are fortunate to have some great speakers today. First up is Vice Admiral Charles Martoglio. Vice Admiral Charles W. Martoglio is a retired United States Navy officer who served an illustrious 40-year career marked by both seafaring command and strategic leadership ashore. Another graduate up here from the Naval Academy, he commanded the guided missile destroyer USS Fitzgerald during its maiden Persian Gulf deployment, led Destroyer Squadron 23 as Sea Combat Commander in the opening of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and chaired the Ronald Reagan Strike Group during a 2007 Western Pacific deployment. On the strategic and policy side, he held senior roles in Washington, including Director of Strategic and Policy for the Navy, Director of Operations for U.S. Pacific Command, Senior Military Assistant to the Secretary of the Navy, and ultimately Deputy Commander of United States European Command, overseeing U.S. military operations in Europe, Eurasia, and Israel. He is recognized for his deep expertise in contingency planning, coalition operations, and civil military strategy, and today continues to contribute to national security discourse as a lecturer on grand strategy and defense policy. Admiral Martoglio, please.
Good morning, everybody. What a magnificent day to be here and to recognize so many veterans for so many contributions across so many years. I'd just like to start by thanking Jason for the kind introduction, and thank you, Neil, for the opportunity to speak today to this group. And most importantly, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here today as we honor America's veterans across our nation's soon-to-be 250th birthday. It's also a pleasure to be here with so many distinguished individuals and community leaders who, along with our veterans, have demonstrated selfless service to our nation, to our cities, and to our communities, here in hometown San Diego and beyond. As you look around the world today, you need look no further than the morning newspaper or the evening news or your iPhones to know that these are challenging times for America and Americans. Indeed, challenging times for all nations that cherish freedom, security, prosperity, and opportunity. It's during times like this that our nation looks to people like you, many of you assembled here today, our veterans. We often look to our veterans for leadership in the face of global threats, for steadfastness in the face of speed of light change, and for calmness and rational thought in the face of increasingly complex challenges. America often looks to its veterans because throughout history they have demonstrated strength, perseverance, character, and respect for what America represents at home and overseas. Today, we honor the sacrifice of our veterans, from those serving at Valley Forge in the winter of '77, to the horrific times of America's Civil War, to those who fought in World Wars I and II, to the millions who have served in Korea, Vietnam, and the wars of the past 50 years, to those serving today, and especially to all those who never returned home. America's veterans have stood guard over our great nation, often in far-off and unheard-of places, and sometimes for ideals that were less understood. Yet today's challenges are not unique to us in the early 21st century. Similar challenges have been present in America's history from our very first days as a nation. And as Americans, we've learned from them, adjusted course accordingly, and become a better nation, often underpinned by the serving veterans of their day. It's in times like these that I see the real value in honoring our veterans, because our military, your military, unites many people from many walks of life and many of life's circumstances. And it reminds us of the common values we hold dear as a nation. Remember, honoring veterans is more than a single-day commitment. It's a commitment that requires recognition each day, for the freedom our veterans have stood for is hard won, and it is way too easy to let it slip away. If I may, I would like to ask our veterans to stand and be recognized by all of us here in our city, in our region, in our nation. If you're a veteran, please stand. In addition to our veterans, we also owe a debt of gratitude to our veterans' spouses and their families, for they are the backbone of those who serve America. Our spouses carry on in the face of long deployments, months of distant training, their own career instability, and the emotional strain caused by uncertainty and separation. Yet despite these challenges, they maintain family and home, contribute in many ways to their community, and sacrifice in ways similar to their veterans. And now, if spouses and families would please stand and be recognized for their contribution to America and all America stands for. Such moving moments for so many of us, for so many reasons. As our nation closes in on its 250th birthday, I'd like to highlight that our U.S. Navy has already celebrated its 250th birthday, having been established on October 13th, 1775, 10 months before the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I'd also like to note that San Diego has been a very large part of that history. Starting in 1901 with the establishment of a coaling station at La Playa on Point Loma, the 1908 visit of the Great White Fleet to Coronado Roads, 1910's establishment of the Glenn Curtis Flying School, 1911's flight of Lieutenant Spuds Ellyson, Naval Aviator number 1, the 1917 establishment of Naval Air Station North Island, and of course, as a destroyerman, I can't pass up the 1922 opening of Destroyer Base San Diego, now Naval Station San Diego, and the arrival in 1924 of USS Langley, our Navy's first aircraft carrier, here to train our first carrier pilots, helping tee up America's success in World War II. This large Navy presence catapulted San Diego into being the Indo-Pacific's premier naval port, a position that grows increasingly important in today's challenging security environment. 2.5 centuries after its establishment, the sun never sets on our U.S. Navy, nor on our U.S. Marine Corps. From 1775 sailing ships to today's aircraft carrier and expeditionary strike groups, Aegis destroyers and Marine expeditionary forces, we share a legacy of innovation, hard work, and professionalism, demonstrating global reach and reaffirming our commitment to peace through deterrence and power. Although not traditionally recognized during Veterans Day celebrations, there are many meaningful parallels between those who have served in the U.S. military and today's first responders. Our first responders share a commitment to service, demonstrate courage under fire, are often veterans themselves, make significant personal sacrifices, and deserve community recognition along with the veterans. Please join me in recognizing the role of today's first responders in our community and in our lives. Before closing, I would like to say a few words to the young men and women in our audience as they get ready to take their places in the long line of Americans that have made our United States the nation that it is today. First, never doubt the importance of gaining knowledge and expertise. It's important to your future and to the future of our nation. Learn in school, learn from your parents and friends, and develop a mindset of achieving real expertise in your chosen career. America needs you and your generation to be the best you can be intellectually, physically, and ethically. Second, dedicate a portion of your life to national service, either at the beginning or toward the end of your career. You can serve in the U.S. military, as a foreign service officer in our State Department, or in a government agency that is of interest to you. Where you serve doesn't matter. That you serve does. And your national, state, or city service will pay you back across time with tangible benefits, to be sure, but more importantly, with intangible benefits like unparalleled life experiences, highly developed leadership skills, lifelong friendships, and a broader perspective with which to view this increasingly complex world. And my third message to our younger audience members is that there is little more important than integrity in today's world. Ensure you embrace it and look for it in others. Then keep them close. Integrity is doing what is right when no one is looking. It's leading by example. And sometimes it's making the hard and unpopular choices. But integrity takes the long view. It ensures better decisions. It sets you apart. It engenders trust. And it provides a role model for others, be they seniors, peers, subordinates, or ultimately your children. As the next greatest generation, take a few moments to reflect on the meaning of today, the achievements of your veteran parents and grandparents, the debt of gratitude owed to those who have served their country in uniform, not just today, but stretching back to America's Revolution, and the contribution of those military men and women who gave their lives for America, for freedom, and for you. And that's why we're here today, to remember and thank all those soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who served our nation in pursuit of freedom and democracy as enshrined in the Constitution of our great nation. God bless you. God bless our veterans and their families, and may God continue to bless our United States of America. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Vice Admiral Martoglio. Great message. Great message. Okay, our next speaker is Brigadier General Paul K. Lebidine. He retired after a distinguished 33-year career in the United States Marine Corps, having enlisted in 1984 and eventually rising from enlisted ranks to command assignments, including leading the 4th Marine Division and serving as Director of the Advice and Assistant Directorate at Operation Resolute Support in Afghanistan. He holds a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Florida, a Juris Doctor from Thomas Jefferson School of Law, and a Master's in Security Studies from the United States Army War College. His service included combat deployments to operations such as Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. General Lebidine, please welcome him to the podium. You got it.
Wow, how do you follow those speeches, huh? Pretty amazing, Admiral. Wow, and Mayor, thank you so much for being here today. And it's not just today, it's every day. And when he says it, he means it. And we're just so grateful to have him leading our city. Thank you, sir. Let me begin by echoing the warm welcomes already extended by our earlier speakers. Their words speak for all of us, and I join them in honoring each of you here today. It's a privilege to speak this morning. Mount Soledad is a breathtaking blend of natural beauty, military honor, and civic remembrance. It's a rare opportunity to publicly thank someone, but Sergeant Major O'Connell was the senior enlisted leader on my first deployment to Afghanistan and did an outstanding job in a very difficult mission. There are Marines and sailors alive today because of his leadership. So on behalf of many, I simply say, Semper Fi, Sergeant Major. Hoorah. "30 years ago this month, I was a Marine Corps captain in charge of the ball ceremony on the Queen Mary. And our guest of honor was retired Navy Captain Pete Conrad, Apollo 12 astronaut and the third man to walk on the moon. Before the event, I sought him out, and I gently reminded him that we'd be standing at parade rest during his remarks, hinting perhaps about the length of his comments. He smiled and he looked at me and said, "Don't worry, Captain, I got it." When he spoke, he simply said he wanted to add a chapter to Marine Corps history. In the early 1960s, while serving as a test pilot in Texas, Pete's jet crashed. His backseater, a Marine Corps captain, did not survive. Years later, when Pete stepped onto the moon, he carried that Marine's aviator gold wings with him and placed them underneath the American flag. And what he wanted to add to Marine Corps history was, never let it be said that a Marine hadn't been on the moon. And that was it. And then later he sought me out. And he asked, "Was that short enough for you?" And before I could answer, he said, "I hope the Marines understood the purpose of the story. You're never going to accomplish all your personal goals in the service. But what really matters is one's contribution to the greater expectations of their units. Something larger and more important than self." He told me to pass that on, and so today I have. His comments are about every veteran here today. It's about the quiet pride of those who served without fanfare and the lasting legacy of those who gave more than they ever expected to. You know, sometimes it's overlooked that not all service occurs on the front lines. I know some of you remember The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. One night, comedian George Gobel was a guest, if you remember the guy with the flat top. And Johnny asked him about his service in World War II. George said he fought the war in Oklahoma as a flight instructor. And when the audience laughed at his stateside assignment, George replied, "I don't know what's so funny. That is evidently where they needed me, or they wouldn't have sent me there." And then with perfect timing, he added, "Just remember, there wasn't one Japanese aircraft that ever made it past Tulsa." His humor carried a more profound truth. Every role and responsibility in military service matters. Whether walking point, maintaining vehicles, serving food, or providing administration. Each contribution strengthens the mission and safeguards the nation. It was never relevant whether they're drafted or volunteered, and there was always a sense of accountability to those on your left and your right. And for some, that was more than 40 years. As I see Colonel Anthony sitting here today, God bless you, sir. And I know what you're thinking. I know you know me throughout my career, and you're thinking, how did we ever let that guy get a microphone? In line with today's theme, the Marines' contribution and legacy in San Diego are deeply rooted in the city's history. It started in 1846 with the Marines from the USS Scenic raising the American flag over the city during the Mexican-American War in what is now Old Town. Just months later, Marines teamed up with the Army in the Battle of San Pasqual. A state historic park between Escondido and Ramona now remembers the battlefield. In 1911, Marines established their first base in San Diego at Camp Thomas on North Island. It functioned as a temporary display of force during unrest in Mexico. I'm sorry, Admiral, but I think the Marines were there first. In 1914, then Colonel Joseph Pendleton established Camp Howard on North Island and opened it to the public, thereby establishing a lasting Marine presence. During World War II, Camp Elliott emerged east of today's Miramar, preparing artillery and infantry units for combat in the Pacific. And high above the coast, Camp Matthews served as a rifle range in La Jolla from 1918 to 1964, where over 1 million Marines sharpened their marksmanship before deployment. Today, the site is the home of the University of California, San Diego. And although these camps have faded into history, their legacy remains. And the spirit of readiness they inspired in generations of Marines and sailors. In 1921, then Brigadier General Pendleton established Marine Corps Base San Diego at its current location, which was once a tidal basin of mud called Dutch Flats. In 1923, recruit training operations was transferred to San Diego, marking the start of a century of transformation. Over this period, more than 1.5 million civilians have been trained into Marines, now including both men and women, each one shaped in the crucible of boot camp and welcomed into the proud service, the proud tradition of service. Graduations draw thousands of families, turning the parade deck into a lively symbol of civic pride and national commitment. That bond between the city and the Corps extends into the skies at Marine Corps Air Station Miramar, home of the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing and the host of the nation's largest military air show. Nearby is Camp Pendleton, home to the 1 MEF Expeditionary Force with over 100,000 personnel, including military, their families, civilian Marines that are spread across 125,000 acres. San Diego and its military community, an alliance strengthened by bipartisan political support. Leaders from both parties have advocated for infrastructure, protected jobs, and honored veterans, ensuring San Diego remains not just a training ground, but a permanent home for those who served. Of course, it hasn't always been smooth sailing. In the 1920s, Major General Smedley Butler famously stopped his Marines' unauthorized beautification efforts after they started relocating plants from Balboa Park to the recruit depot, prompting a polite but firm letter from the mayor. You know, I know there's been a few other bumps in the road, Mayor, but today's Veterans Day, okay? And I think if I was going to address that, I probably should address it to our police chief, okay? Over time, San Diego has become more than just a duty station. It's a lifelong home for thousands of Marines, including legends like Lieutenant General Victor Brute Krulak, Brigadier General Mike Neal, both Navy Cross recipients. And I see Jan sitting over here. We know the general's on the med, and he's in all our thoughts. And thank you so much for coming today. It means a lot to all of us. And Sergeant Major Leland Crawford, the 9th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. They all chose to stay and serve the community they helped build. At Camp Pendleton's 5th Marines, a plaque lists the names of 2,706 Marines and corpsmen who lost their lives serving with the regiment in Vietnam. Our own Jack Lyon, who served 2 tours in Vietnam and was the recipient of the Silver Star and Purple Heart. He wrote its final inscription on the plaque. In the bush, we were 100% accountable and 100% responsible to each other, and we still are. And so our calling and our challenge now are to live a life of honor and service, to properly respect and reflect the love, courage, and goodness they embodied. Beneath these words is a passage from the book of Isaiah. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?" And I said, "Here I am, Lord, send me." A calling that resonates so powerfully today here at Mount Soledad, especially with our Gold Star families. Today, as we honor our veterans and their families, and as the Admiral's already highlighted, we also acknowledge the enduring truth that liberty is never self-sustaining, and democracy is never guaranteed. It must be defended, nurtured, and renewed. For 250 years, our armed forces have done just that, standing not only ready for missions, but also committed to our core principles. And if my father were here today, a World War II Army veteran, he might remind us of something that Neil Simon wrote in the final line of Biloxi Blues, a movie about Simon's experience in Army boot camp during the 1940s. It's not so much the things we did that I remember, it's the way we felt. It was the feeling of being young. God bless you all, Semper Fidelis, and God bless America.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, General Lebidine. Wow, that was great. Okay, right now we're going to unveil the plaque replicas that the audience can look at. You can see these after the ceremony. The actual plaques are located on the GG and JJ walls behind us, and they're designated with an honor display on top of the wall. Admiral Martoglio and General Lebidine are being joined by Mount Soledad National Veterans Memorial President Phil Kendrow and Executive Director Neil O'Connell. All right. So be sure and check these out after the ceremony. Okay. To finish up our ceremony today, I want to introduce Phil Kendrow. Phil is the president and CEO of the Mount Soledad Memorial Association and has served with the board since 2016. He served 20 plus years in the Marine Corps, sits on the San Diego County Military and Veterans Advisory Council, San Diego Veterans Day Parade Committee, co-founder of the Veterans Beer Club. How good is that? And hopefully a Navy and Marine Corps 250 birthday celebration when the government finally opens back up. Can I get a witness, please? All right. Oh, and in addition, Phil Kendrow, also the winner of KUSI's Community Champions Award. Was it September? Yeah, for September, for all he does for our community. Great guy. Give him a big round of applause.
Can I give, please, a round of applause for Jason? He is so much fun to work with, and what he does in the community, too. Hey, we really do appreciate what you do in the community, and KUSI, it's awesome support. All of our media support has been amazing. And I definitely want to give a big shout out to little Tommy for all of his work in the community, especially with Christmas coming up and what he's doing. So, and we couldn't do this event today without the amazing efforts both in donations and time. And you know, at least when I'm up here, that we're finishing up the ceremony. So I know that's ending it pretty quickly. But hey, thank you again to our presenting sponsor, Kaiser Permanente, Roger. We greatly appreciate the support by Sequan, R3 Strategic Support Group, Wounded Warrior Project, Amerivet Consulting, Jersey Mike Subs, the Navy League of San Diego. Ernie, I saw you earlier. Where you at, Ernie? There you go, down there. Nice. Thank you, Ernie. Home Depot Foundation was up here on Wednesday, cleaning up with 365 Contact and Teresa, who couldn't be here today, the Rancho Santa Fe Foundation, and all of our many members. And especially to those men in the green jackets. Can I get a huge round of applause? We had some of our Navy chiefs up here helping out, as well as we had Cox Communications with their group, so I look forward to it. I also look forward to spending some time with you all. You know, you're not done. So you've got today, you've got the 10th of November. Anybody know what that is? Marine Corps birthday. Can I get a hoorah? All right, so you got the Marine Corps birthday. And then Tuesday, with my great friend Holly down there, we'll be announcing the San Diego Veterans Day Parade. So don't plan anything still for like the next 5 days. Okay, we still got more to do. Mayor Gloria, Councilman LaCava, my good friend Jordan Marks up there, a strong taxpayer advocate. Really appreciate you. Got the Honorable Judge Peter Murray and multiple of our police chief and fire chief. Again, we've talked so much about your first responders. It's amazing what you do, and thank you for being such a presence in amazing San Diego City. So thank you for that. Of course, to our speakers, Admiral, General, appreciate you sharing your stories. Our nation is a better place because of men and women like you. Jim, we're proud to have you at the Mount Soledad Veteran of the Year, and Commander Stanovic, thank you as well. And thank you, Chief Getty, for being here with your amazing voice. I appreciate, he was really trying to draw it out, looking for those airplanes overhead. Did a really great job, but we couldn't get him to hold it for another 30 seconds, so. Thanks much to Finest City Entertainment, the support over the years. I love you guys. Thank you so much. It's been fun to work with you. Our photographers, Dave and Charles. If you hear a little buzzing noise, that's Charles up ahead, above, taking a look at you. Joe Pisano. So everybody sees this Guardian up here. Take the time to meet with Joe, find out about his story. I believe the doctor that wrote the book, Dr. Gordon, I believe. Are you here today? Right there. So make sure to talk to them about what the projects that they're looking at and his artwork. Get some photos with him and ask them questions about all the stuff they're trying to do. Denise, Becky, Hannah, Trevor, Tanisha, and to our executive director, Neil, up here, you're creating so many great ideas and truly leaning forward to make our memorial and association much stronger. Thank you for all that you do. And I'm definitely giving you a big round of applause for that one. Appreciate that we got a lot of the veterans to stand there today, and thank you for being here. For our annual large ceremonies, I think it's been important to find a poem, a piece of literature, a prayer to end our ceremonies. So here's one. Happy birthday to those sailors and Marines. We honor all who braved the seas. We remember their place in history and cherish those now at peace. We commemorate those who've gone ashore. We remember those who fought ashore. We covet in those who will fight once more and honor their warrior spirit's core. We bless the ones who live in our dreams and those who will next intervene. May courage and freedom forever gleam. Happy birthday to our sailors and Marines. So we're loving our La Jolla High School band, who is now going to play the Armed Forces Medley. When you hear your anthem, your song, please stand when you hear your anthem. Walt, one thing though, back there, Walt. When the Marine Corps hymn plays, which is the last one, you got to turn my mic off because you always hear me singing in the background. So if you don't mind, when the Marine hymn, shut my mic off and then we'll talk again. But anyway, La Jolla, please. Navy. Thank you very much. And also give a round of applause for the family members that take those band members all over the place. You know, they really do appreciate a round of applause. I'd like to now welcome back Chief Petty Officer Gentry to sing God Bless America, and I don't think he'll mind if any of you want to sing along with him as well.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you very much for attending here today. Both you found it a little bit entertaining and informative. And let's not forget that today is a celebration, and former President Reagan quoted that it is right that we should meditate upon the principles for which so Americans have fought: peace, freedom, the sacred dignity of all men and women, principles that still give hope to the nation. I offer you, please take a look around the memorial today to get to learn more about it. We also have some of our staff to learn about the memorial. And again, I'd like to take some photos and learn about what Joe Pisano is doing over there. Thank you so much for y'all being here today, and God bless America.